welcome to Southern California and Malibu on a glorious day for WCC this week, presented by Geico, and a big day in the conference. Call it Separation Saturday, if you will. We're going to get some separation later tonight between 1 and 2, and the conference slate getting underway with Santa Clara and Pepperdine from the Firestone Fieldhouse. It is our WCC Game of the Week. Alongside Casey Jacobson, I'm Steve Quist. Welcome inside Firestone Fieldhouse. Later today, our Game of the Week coming up here in about 25 minutes. Two teams trying to overcome injuries. One team has so far. The other team has not. We'll have more on that in a moment, but it is a big day here in the conference with all that is going on, especially as we look at our news and notes. The 7 o'clock game coming up will be the Gonzaga Bulldogs and St. Mary's. St. Mary's right now, they're the only two undefeated in the conference, but St. Mary's has a half-game lead over Gonzaga because the Zags had a game that was postponed due to weather at Portland. It'll be rescheduled for Monday the 23rd. And don't shut your tool case on the BYU Cougars. They are 4-1. They're in San Diego tonight, and they're looking for a top 3 finish here this year. What are your thoughts, Casey?
Well, my thoughts are, of course, on Gonzaga and St. Mary's. I can't wait for this game. Not only the marquee matchup of the WCC, but in my opinion, I think it's the best matchup tonight in all of college basketball. These two teams are playing their best basketball of the season. Gonzaga, the only unbeaten team in America, and St. Mary's, they're coming off 9 straight wins. So one of these streaks is going to end. And remember, last year, St. Mary's did go to Spokane and get a win, but this Gonzaga team is so much better with Shemek Karnowski returning. Nigel Williams-Goss is back. Those guys didn't even play in that game, so sure. The Zags have to have the edge tonight. And
that is a marquee matchup as far as ESPN's concerned, too, at 7 o'clock. If you want to see that game, you can watch it on ESPN, too. Let's start talking about the top-scoring guards here in this conference, because the WCC has always been a great conference for guard play, and this year, I mean, just about everyone has a solid guard.
Always loaded in the WCC. It's one of the things that I love about this conference, and the 3 that we're going to show you tonight happen to all be seniors, which is a great thing in college basketball, right? We talk about freshmen all the time, but the seniors are getting it done. Alec Wintering at Portland at 6 feet tall. He's little, but his game is large. He's averaging 18 points last year. This year, actually, 20 points per game. But that's not all he does. He's also second in assists and steals. And let's go to Santa Clara. Jared Brownridge. He has a new coach in Herb Sendek, but Jared's got the same old game. He has started every single contest of his career and has averaged at least 16 points in every season. This year, he's 6th in the WCC in scoring his senior campaign. And then last, but definitely not least, Lamon Murray Jr., who has steadily improved his game over the 4 years he has been in Malibu. He's a big guard at 6'5". He's 3rd in the conference in scoring as we stand today at 19.5 points. And he's also developed quite a nice 3-point jump shot, too. Very steady there.
Couple of thoughts. If Jared Brownridge was playing Arizona every day, he'd already be the leading scorer, not only at Santa Clara, but in the West Coast Conference. I know he's got a little ways to go there, and he's moving up into the top 10. Also, Lamon Murray, if this team wasn't banged up and he had the full complement of players around him, boy, Pepperdine would be having an amazing season right now. Instead, he's got to shoulder all the offensive load.
Yeah, you know, if I look at those 3 guys, and they're all really clutch, if I had to choose just one guy to give the ball to and say, go give me a bucket, it would still probably be Jared Brownridge, though. I think he's one of the most clutch players in all of college basketball.
I agree, and you'll see him in our WCC Game of the Week coming up. We'll continue here on WCC This Week, presented by Geico, by heading back into the studios with this young man here who's going to bring us highlights of Thursday's action from around the conference.
Welcome back to WCC This Week here in Los Angeles. I'm Chris McGee. Before we get to our full slate of games today, let's go straight to conference highlights and get you caught up with all the WCC action from earlier this week. BYU Cougars taking on USF. The Cougars 5-1 in their last 6 games. Eric Mika, career night versus the Dons. Early in the first half, Dons trailing by 2. Yoli Childs, bad pass. San Francisco with the steal going the other way. Djordjevic streaks for the layup. Game tied at 7. Shortly later, Mika, nice feed over his defender for the easy 2 points, 12-7 Cougars. San Francisco trying to stay within single digits. In transition, Rimu, Raitanen buries it outside for the 3. 5-point game, next possession. BYU trying to answer. Nick Emery driving down the lane for the finish. Emery, 22 points. Let's go to the second half, 4-point game, but Mika going off. Isolated, inside with Matt McCarthy. Turns baseline for the hook off the glass. More from the sophomore forward. Childs sends him a nice dime inside for the easy two-handed flush. 23 seconds left in the game. Off the inbounds pass, TJ Haas pushes ahead for Mika. The jam, career high, 31 points, 12 rebounds, 85-75 BYU. Gonzaga hosting Loyola Marymount. Mark Few and the Bulldogs are entering the matchup undefeated at 15-0. First half, LMU down 7. Brandon Brown gets the open look for the three-pointer, puts the Lions within 4. But there's no stopping. Shemek Karnowski, the senior, great position. Seals, gets the feed inside for the jam. All you big men out there, that's how you do it. Great footwork. That's the way you use the body. Still in the first half. Eric Johansson off the screen, gets the handoff, knocks down the 3-ball. It's a 4-point game. Lions are hanging in. But in the second half, the Bulldogs were too much for LMU. Karnowski working in the paint. Right where he left off in the first half. Karnowski led Gonzaga, 17 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. Zach Collins, he was also big off the bench. Great ball movement here, sets up the alley-oop. Collins, 15 points, 9 boards. 93-55, Gonzaga. We're going to Santa Clara at San Diego. USD's Brett Bailey enters the game 6th in the WCC in scoring, averaging 17.3 points per game. First half, Santa Clara out to a hot start. Jared Brownridge, 3-pointer. Broncos out to a 14-4 lead. Shortly after, shot clock winding down. KJ Fagan drains a long jumper. They'd combined for 14 of Santa Clara's 22 field goals. He and Brownridge. Olin Carter, 3-pointer of his own. Torero's going to the half, trailing by 6, 35-29. Brett Bailey, though, he's going to take over. Drives baseline. Throws it down with 2 hands. Nice play from the senior. He's got USD within 1. Check this out. He finished with a team high 15. That's a great move. Ensuing Torero's possession. Bailey drives, draws the foul. He's able to get the bucket. First lead for USD, 52-51. Just over a minute remaining. Brownridge drives, go-ahead lay-in. Game high 20. Broncos take a 2-point lead. Check this out. Olin Carter's shot is no good. Bailey gets the rebound, quickly puts it up, hits it. Does it count? They're pretending to go nuts even though they know that it probably doesn't. Ref's going to take another look. Red light is on. Does not count. Referee rules no basket. Santa Clara escapes with a 59-57 win. What a game. Pepperdine taking on Pacific. Damon Stoudemire, he's bearing down. Pacific Tigers hosting the Pepperdine Waves. Both teams looking for their second conference win. Here's Lamont Murray Jr. working the baseline, gets the roll. Waves up 5. Murray finished with a team high 23 points, playing all 40 minutes. Check out TJ Wallace. He's been in our studio a few times. Good kid. No one stops him. He's going to throw it down. He's worked on his game. Game high 25 points, go with 10 assists. 3 minutes to go. Tigers trailing by 2. Wallace finds Jack Williams open beyond the arc. Clutch shot, buries it. Pacific on top by 1. Moments later, it's still a 1-point game. It's the senior, Jeremy Major. High off the glass. Pepperdine retakes the lead. Next possession. Jack Williams. It's a guy you want to hang out with. Good guys are usually named Jack. Buries it. One of his 4 triples. Pacific up 2. They're now up 3 and there's 40 seconds left. Pepperdine has it. They got a shot to tie. Reyes. He comes up short. And that'll do it. 79-74. Pacific wins. They improved to 2-3 in conference play. We got Randy Bennett and the Gales taking their 14-1 record into Portland. So St. Mary's, they're on fire. They're on the road. First half, Gales up 15. Good ball movement here. Calvin Hermanson with the three-pointer. He would hit it. Gales up 18. They're crushing them. Still up 18. Hermanson in the corner. Three-pointer. Good. Hermanson with 17 points in the first half. This team's good. Portland's going to struggle. They're going to miss a layup. Jazz Johnson is going to miss a jumper. Alec Wintering is going to miss a three. Portland would be held to just 9 points in the first half. Hermanson for three again. Gales up 31. Hermanson would end the game with 27 points. Gales are rolling. How about Tanner Krebs? He wants in on the action. Three-pointer in the corner. Gales win 74-33. And here's what the conference standings look like. Gonzaga and Portland are the only teams that have not played 5 conference games. So St. Mary's holds first place with a 5-0 conference record for now, while the undefeated Zags sit in second place with 16 wins. And then at the bottom, San Francisco, LMU, San Diego, Pepperdine are all still seeking their second conference win of the season. All right, let's have a little fun. I had the pleasure of sitting down with our players and coaches to see just how well they knew the facts and history of their alma mater. Last week, it was the San Diego Toreros. This week, we have senior guard Lamont Murray Jr. and coach Marty Wilson representing the Pepperdine Waves in a segment we like to call Program Pop Quiz. Let's see how they did. All right, guys, it's time for the Program Pop Quiz. The reason why you came here, I know you guys love competing and you're going against the other schools, so I'm going to ask you guys questions about your program. You each get 5. I'm going to start with you, the player, Lamont. Who's your team's all-time leading scorer in the history of... I'm already going to...
Stacey Davis.
Really came out easy for you right there. Coach, this one's tough. Most points scored in a single game. You can give me the guy who did it or how many points he had, man. He had a lot.
I think I know both. Bert Averett.
Coach!
52 points.
57, but
57,
who cares,
that was
man?
close.
Count that. Your coach, by the way, ranks 9th all-time at Pepperdine in what category? He had 342 of them, and you better know.
Assist.
He's a giver. We're on fire. Told you we would be.
Yes, sir.
Who's the highest ever drafted player from Pepperdine? He went 17th overall.
Doug Christie, 1992.
Let's go. We're rolling. 4 for 4, going to be 5 for 5. What's your mascot's name? Starts with a W.
Willie the Wave.
Willie the Wave.
Oh, man.
Coach, you were going to lose your mind. I had to tell. That's why I gave him the W. I saw your face. I was like, we were going to be running in here. Oh, man, that was great. Which president officially dedicated Firestone Fieldhouse in 1975? Coach.
Howard A. White.
Gerald Ford. What year did the basketball program start? It was in the 1930s. I'll give you that hint.
1936.
Coach?
7.
38.
Oh.
So close. So close.
Oh.
Coach, this is an over-under. How many seats does your gym have? Over or under 3,100?
Over.
Over 3,104. Sing the first line of your school's fight song.
Pepperdine Waves, yeah.
Yeah, so far it's good, man. Wait, yeah, Lamont, how's he doing? Coach Lamont, that was Lamont just crushed it. I meant Marty.
We're gonna fight for Pepperdine. And that's
Boom!
Oh, wow.
We're counting that, right? Yeah, my producer says absolutely. So
there you go.
Wow. That, Coach.
There you go.
Pepperdine, 8-2, tied with BYU for the lead.
Nice.
Good job. Great job, guys. That was fun. All right, let's check the standings and see how each school fared against each other. After missing only 2 questions, it's currently a 3-way tie between the BYU Cougars, San Diego Toreros, and Pepperdine Waves at 8-2. This is shaping up to be a tight race. Don't touch that dial. Basketball star Jared Brownridge from Santa Clara has hopes of transferring his stardom to another field. Stay right there to find out what the senior guard's aspirations are. We're back. Gonzaga's Nigel Williams-Goss is named the WCC Men's Basketball Player of the Week. The junior guard led the Zags to a road win against San Francisco with a career night of 36 points on 12 of 15 shooting. He also pulled down 11 rebounds to record the first double-double of the season for the Bulldogs. This is Nigel's second Player of the Week honor this season. What do you want to be when you grow up? That's a question we've all heard. For senior guard Jared Brownridge, that question was easy to answer. For this week's story, we head to Santa Clara, where Brownridge shares with us his love for broadcasting and aspiration of becoming a sideline reporter. Sarah Cazell puts Jared's skills to the test.
Sarah Cazell for the W.TV here with Jared Brownridge, a star for Santa Clara basketball and also one day potentially a star on your television. Is that right?
Yes, I definitely hope so. I love doing broadcasting and hope to get into sideline reporting one day.
All right, so we are going to hand you this mic to see what you're made of. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. First test. Play-by-play. I know you don't love it, but it's part of the game. You're going to be calling a game from December. You were playing Cal State East Bay. Great game for you guys. Let's do this.
Broncos taking the ball out. Cal State East Bay up 21-12 against Santa Clara Broncos. Hauser's bringing the ball up the court. Seem like they're having trouble getting into their offense, a little slow. Brownridge coming off the screen. Looking inside to Pugh, but can't get it to him. Coming off a curl, Matt Hauser with the shot, mid-range pull-up from the elbow. 21-14.
All right, let's stop it right here. Are you happy to be done with this?
Yeah.
All right, so now you're on sideline. I'm going to be your play-by-play guy. So, with more, here's our sideline reporter, Jared Brownridge.
Yeah, well, the Broncos have had a slow start, especially with shooting on the offensive end, and they haven't been aggressive enough on the defensive end. And I think that's exactly what Coach Sindek was scared about headed into this game. But I think in the second half, they'll be able to turn it around, especially since Coach Sindek will be talking to him in the locker room. But so far, the Broncos have not gotten enough space in on the offensive end, which have caused them to get a lack of shots. And right now, Cal State East Bay is pushing the ball at them in transition and getting shots on the three-point and the perimeter. And the Broncos are having a hard time guarding them on the outside.
Jared, you're a natural at that. But you want to do sideline, right? So it makes sense that you'd be progressing in that arena?
Yeah, most definitely. I think since I've been around the game for so long, I already know so much. So I think I could provide that insight while talking during these games. And I think I could get along with the athletes because I've been around athletes all my life.
Yeah,
so,
you've been there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's only fitting that I do something like that.
And I know that you do some on-camera work for SantaClaraBroncos.com, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tell me about that.
Long Walks with Jared, and I'm started that since my freshman year, since I knew I wanted to get into broadcasting. Gotten to interview the WCC commissioner.
I haven't even gotten to do that yet. What?
You're not ready for that yet. You're not ready for that yet.
You're right. I need another year.
It takes progression.
You're right. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. You know what? I've just asked you a few questions. I think it's time for you to put your interview skills to the test, especially since you enjoy features and connecting with people. I think it's time for you to do that.
Hey, I'm here with Will Burkett, senior guard here at Santa Clara. What is some of your background coming into college basketball? What was high school like for you?
High school was great. I played at a small Division V school in Watsonville, California, and I played 2 years of JUCO before transferring here as a junior, and I'm a senior now, and it's been great.
One thing I have to ask you is, what's been your favorite memory since being a part of the Santa Clara basketball team?
The one that stands out to me is last year. We were playing against Pepperdine at home. It's a close game. My guy Jared here hit a tough step-back three in that left corner over there to win the game. It was crazy. It was a great win for us.
I didn't tell him to say that, so if you guys think that, just ignore that.
All right, Jared. You killed that. I'm starting to feel a little bit more nervous for my job. A lot of famous TV announcers have a catchphrase. What is your catchphrase going to be?
Maybe something like Shazam. in case like a crazy move happens or a crazy shot happens, that's what I'll yell that out. I yell Shazam and throw like a little fist pump. And I think the more and more I do that, people are going to know me for that.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering all of my questions, inane or not. You're going to be a star in this business. I feel like you already know that, though.
I hope so. Coming from you, that's pretty big.
Thanks.
No, thank you.
You've been a great sport. I appreciate it.
Back to the hardwood. Let's take a look at our Saturday slate of games for the conference. Coming up right after this, our game of the week, Pepperdine hosting Santa Clara. Then the Cougars will travel to San Diego. The 15-1 St. Mary's Gales taking on undefeated Gonzaga Bulldogs. I love that one. And then final game of the day, Pacific at San Francisco, as the Dons hope to seek their second conference win. More scheduling news. The Portland and Gonzaga game was postponed January 7th due to a major winter storm sweeping the Pacific Northwest. It was announced the two teams will now face off Monday, January 23rd in Portland. Tip-off set for 5 p.m. All right, that'll do it from here in the studio. After the break, we're heading back to Malibu inside Firestone Fieldhouse, where Steve Quist and Casey Jacobson will have the call. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Welcome back to Malibu, California. We're just ahead of our WCC Game of the Week, featuring fourth place Santa Clara against a Pepperdine team that has been riddled with injuries to start the year. They are 5-12. Welcome inside Firestone Fieldhouse alongside Casey Jacobson. I'm Steve Quist. Let's talk a little bit about the X factors for this game.
I love X factors, and we're going to start in Santa Clara with their sophomore point guard, KJ Fagan. From Long Beach, California. KJ actually missed the first 12 games of the Broncos season because of a broken foot, but he returned on December 22nd, and he's been spectacular in his last 4 games. Fagan's averaging 20 points and 5 assists, and the team has won 3 of those 4 games. And my X factor on the other side of the court tonight for Pepperdine is Chris Reyes. Look, Pepperdine is a struggling team with injuries to 2 starters right now, but where would the Waves be without this young man? 6'7" transfer from the University of Utah. He's been unguardable down low. He's coming off 3 20-point games in a row, and tonight he's looking to keep that streak alive.
This is the 3rd week of conference play. We've already told you about the big games coming up today, but here's our WCC Game of the Week schedule ahead. We're back to early starts for the next 2 Saturdays to end out the month of January, and Santa Clara gets an opportunity to play in back-to-back Game of the Weeks.
Oh, that's nice for Santa Clara, right? But there's so many difficult road trips. St. Mary's going to San Diego. They always give them a problem. I remember 2 years ago, San Diego took St. Mary's to overtime. So it's tough to win on the road, Steve.
San Francisco at Pepperdine will conclude things. Again, this is a week 3, and it goes by very fast here in the WCC with the scheduling. None of the breaks like they've had in the last few years, and a lot of fun. Again, the big one tonight, Gonzaga against first place St. Mary's, a half game separating the two in the schedule, or in the standings rather. It's an ESPN2 game to start at 7 o'clock. Here, our Game of the Week features fourth place Santa Clara and a Pepperdine team that has won only twice since beginning at 3-0. Again, they've had a ton of injuries. So coming up next, Santa Clara playing their 3rd consecutive road game here in Southern California. They've taken on LMU in San Diego. They're at Pepperdine here this afternoon. Tip-off Coming up next from Firestone Fieldhouse in Malibu.